What's up YouTube, I'm Mike, and today I'm finally back with another cycle video. This is not really going to be an update video because I'm actually back on blast finally again. But before I talk to you about the blast that I'm on, I want to shout out my daughter who decided to start doing YouTube of her own. She created a YouTube channel like a week ago, and somehow that I do not understand managed to already have 852 subscribers and 52,000 views. So I don't know what happened, but she's blowing up on YouTube apparently. So if for some reason you want to contribute to that success story, her channel is called The Rise of Ali. You probably will not be interested in this content, but I mean, I'm just throwing it out there because apparently a lot of people are. So today what we're talking about is I'm finally on blast again. Now I know what some of you are going to say, when did he ever go off blast? To some people I basically blast year round. So I think this period that I was cutting, well I shouldn't say air quote, I was cutting. The thing is, like, I blasted for like, I don't know, 40 something weeks in a perpetual growth period where I got up to as high as 218 pounds with 6 visible abs, mind you. And, but I was real, like, the thing I said in one of my previous videos is for my body type, saying that I got to a certain weight with 6 visible abs, I mean, it's kind of like, it's kind of misleading, slightly misleading. What I mean is I do have 6 visible abs. You can see year round on Instagram. There's never a pose down video year round that I don't have 6 perfectly visible abs. The problem is that I'm just very genetically gifted for some reason, and I carry, like, when I start putting on excess body fat, it goes to my love handles, my lower back, and my legs and ass first, and it seems to distribute to my midsection last for some reason. So I cut from, I was holding at about 216 was the top end of my weight, and I cut from there down to 196. During that period of time, I lost little to no muscle. So my biceps usually measure right at about 18 inches. Sometimes like 18, like an eighth, and sometimes usually between 18 and 18 and eighth. During the period of time that I cut down to 196, the lowest I ever saw my biceps get was 17 and a half inches. But, you know, there's a lot of water weight and fluff that's being lost there. I think if you look at my, if you look at all of my progress photos during my last cut, you would agree that I did not possibly lose any muscle during that process. So I've been basically not bulking. I've been in some state of either cutting or maintaining for what feels like an eternity now, but has probably only been 2.5 months maybe, I'm guessing. 3 at an absolute maximum, but probably not. Probably like 2.5 months. I was cutting on about 900 milligrams, 700 to 900 milligrams is how much gear I was using during my cutting phase. Some people have asked why it is that I decreased gear when I went on cut. That typically it's the opposite. Typically guys use more gear when they're in contest prep than they do when they're bulking. There's 2 primary reasons for that. One is I'm a very hard gainer. I just cannot gain. I've got to the point where it took me getting up to like 2 grams of gear per week and eating a gigantic amount of food before I was able to break through any of my weight plateaus. The second thing is that it's very easy for me to cut, and I hold muscle very easily. So the third factor, I guess if there was 3 factors, is that I wasn't doing like a real prep. I wasn't gonna be in a deficit for 16 weeks. I wasn't trying to take my body fat percentage down to single digit. Well, I was single digits, but I wasn't trying to get to like 4 or 5 or something crazy. I wasn't trying to get stage ready. So I knew that I wasn't going to be in a deficit for an extended period of time. And with all of the trend that I was taking, and with 900 milligrams of gear, honestly should be more than enough to hold muscle during a relatively short cut. I cut for like 6 weeks. And in fact, that's what happened. I was able to hold muscle with no problem. But now I really just want to push the limits again. This is what happens every single time I take any period of time away from actively trying to grow. This is why I'm a perma-blaster. It's why I basically a steroid abuser. I don't ever have like off periods. I have not been below 600 milligrams of gear in the past year and a half now. So I cruise on doses that some people, do small cycles on. There's somebody got in the comments, well, 600 milligrams is not a blast, bro. It's like, yes, it is. Yes, it is. 600 milligrams is a blast for people who are in the early stages of the game. Yeah, it's not a blast for me, but 600 milligrams, my first cycle was 200 milligrams a test, then 500 milligrams a test. I grew 12 pounds of muscle on both of those cycles. Those are blasts. Obviously, I can't grow on that now, and so a blast for me is what I'm about to detail to you. So over the course of the last week, I have been ramping up my doses. This is where I am currently sitting today as we speak. I am currently at 250 milligrams of Trenbolone acetate per week. That is being injected twice a day at a total of 17 milligrams twice a day. I just raised that 2 days ago. Let me just tell you before I go, let me get the compounds out, then I'll talk about how it's been going. So we've got 250 milligrams of Trenbolone ACE per week. I am up to 800 milligrams of Masteron E per week. I'm currently at 300 milligrams of Deca, also known as Anadrol decanoate per week. I am taking 50 milligrams of Anadrol per day. So shit, let's see what that is. I should have had this calculated already. Why are you anywhere near? No. So we've got 350 milligrams per week in Anadrol, 800 milligrams of Masteron, 250 milligrams of Tren Ace, 300 milligrams of, I put 3,000, 300 milligrams of Nandrolone. So we're currently at 1.7 grams of gear. I'm going to stay here for, I don't know how long. I'm not even gonna lie to you. What I'm probably gonna end up doing, depending on how my estrogen reacts, what I'm targeting is likely going to be 1 gram of Masteron, 300 milligrams of Trenbolone acetate, 400 milligrams of Masteron, 400 milligrams of Deca, and then the Anadrol. The problem is that I'm not going to be able to stay on Anadrol for very long. My liver is already effed up. My liver enzymes were elevated before I even started the Anadrol, so they'll definitely be very elevated. At say the 4-week mark. So I really don't know how long I'm going to be able to run the Anadrol. And when I have to take that 350 milligrams out of the cycle, that's the reason that I'm amping up the Masteron. So currently I'm stable at 600 milligrams of Masteron. I've jumped it up to 800. I'm injecting it at a higher dose starting this week, trying to climb up to 800. So that's an additional 200 milligrams of Masteron. So I'm hoping to be stable at 800 milligrams of Masteron when I have to take the Anadrol out to offset some of the loss of androgen. So again, we're going to be targeting somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 grams of gear for this blast. How long is this blast going to last? This blast is going to last until I get my teeth done. So I have committed to getting my lower jaw done sometime in the coming week. I'm probably going to finalize that and like actually try to put it on a schedule. I really don't want to do the surgery until the early part of next year. It could be longer than that. Honestly, I don't know. And so we're looking probably at a minimum of two months, I'm guessing, probably minimum, before I have the surgery. When I have the surgery, I will be unable to lift for 1 week, probably 2 to be safe. I think I was back in the gym after 2 weeks when I got my uppers done. I know I was back in 2 weeks. I may have been back slightly earlier than that. So that's where we're at. This is not going to be a protracted, I'm not intending for this to be a protracted blast phase, because I know that I'm going to be going under the knife, and I know that I'm not going to be able to maintain everything once I have my surgery done. And so really what the purpose of this is to basically get one more good blast in my system and bulk up as much as I can, so that when I have my surgery, I don't lose a bunch of contractile tissue. That's kind of the objective, because the first month after having the implants done, well, for the first 6 months, honestly, I'm going to be on a pretty crappy diet. But for the first month, it's borderline liquid diet. Like I can't chew at all. The last time I had this done, I sustained myself on chocolate ice cream with protein powder mixed into it. I was able to eat shredded chicken and like mashed potatoes, stuff like that. But trying to consume like bulking calories during after having implants done is basically impossible. So I'm not really gonna fatten up, but I am gonna bulk up a little bit. I'm gonna bulk a little dirtier than I normally would, because I know that I'm gonna be going into a forced cut phase. And if I go into that forced cut phase chunkier than I want to be, it will be a lot less psychologically straining on me when the weight starts falling off, which is what's going to happen. It's going to fall off rapidly. So that's part of the reason for this. The other part is just because I'm a drug addict and I love blasting gear. So that's what I'm taking. That's what I've been coming up on. How are things going? They are going horrific, guys. Really, really bad. I want to reiterate again, do not do what I'm doing, especially if you're like me. I am not coping with this cycle well at all. I tore my house apart the other night in a fight with my wife that is still ongoing. I have done massive damage to my marriage again. Trenbolone acetate at 210 milligrams. The fight started when I was on 210. I've now pushed it to 250. I am absolutely, totally out of fucking control, unhinged on 200 milligrams of Dryness per week. The level of rage, like unbridled, like just toxic, venom-spewing hatred that has been consuming my body for the past 2 weeks is actually startling to fucking behold. I see myself behaving in a kind of way, almost as if I'm outside of my body watching what this drug is doing to me. I do not know how you guys who take this stuff in higher doses, like 500 milligrams of Trenbolone, I don't know how you stay sane. I don't know how I'm not in prison. Honestly, it's a miracle that I'm not in prison right now. Don't misunderstand. I have not abused my wife physically in any way, but I mean, I want to say, like, I think the most honest thing to say is the Matrix. Like, the Matrix saved me. It's not my lack of absolute physical abuse toward people in my family or people at the gym or people on the road has certainly not come from a lack of desire to hurt somebody. For the past week and a half, I have basically been living in a state of just constant homicidal thinking. I don't even want to go into details in this camera as to the kinds of thoughts that I have been experiencing. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen a bit of a roller coaster ride going on in my story posts. Like, I'm all over the map. Then on top of that, if that weren't bad enough, I dropped A-bombs on top of it. Let me just say that I am now of the opinion that Trenbolone and Anadrol are an absolute match made in heaven. Like, this is the single greatest combination of gear known to man. I have said in the past that I felt like Trenbolone was the forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden. I am now convinced that Trenbolone and Anadrol combined are like the forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden and the mark of the beast, like, combined. You've got like the ambrosia and the demonic possession of the mark of the beast, when you combine Trenbolone and Anadrol, my body has never looked this good in my entire life. I'm still on no testosterone. If you notice in the list of compounds, testosterone is not in there. I'm currently taking 0.15 milligrams of estradiol valerate every other day. That is down from 0.18. And the reason that I've lowered my estradiol dose is because Anadrol is known to slow the metabolism of estradiol, which is why people wrongly claim that that Anadrol aromatizes or increases your estrogen levels. It does not directly do that, but there is, excuse me, there is good data to suggest that Anadrol through some pathway slows the metabolism of estrogen. And so what you have is effectively more estrogen in your system, not because it's making more, because it's slowing the rate at which it gets out. And so to adjust for that, I have been injecting slightly less estradiol valerate. I'm happy to report that my D-game functioning is still firing on all cylinders, although I am having a bit of a hard time finishing. This is likely due to me underdosing my cabergoline. So my ancillaries for this cycle currently are 4 IUs of GH per day, 500 IUs of HCG every other day, and I am currently taking 0.5 milligram of cabergoline per week. I am almost certainly, definitely, probably, maybe, almost positively, certainly going to increase my cabergoline dose to 0.75 per week. So we're probably going to be looking at something like a quarter of a milligram every other day. I'm still experiencing some side effects, like the inability, the harder time finishing, which cabergoline solves. I don't know what the cause is. Again, the cabergoline is keeping my gyno at bay. It is keeping the depression at bay, and it is rectifying all of the known problems from taking 19-NOR drugs. Aside from the unbridled rage and hatred and anger and despising every single person that walks the face of the earth and being almost constantly homicidal, leaving all of that to the side, I've never felt better in life. My workouts are savage. I feel really good in the gym. The only real negative that I'm experiencing is that I have so much energy I can't sit still. I decided to shoot this video while I am massively amped up, just to see if it comes through the camera. What I was getting ready to do is what I've been having to do for the past several weeks since I've been coming up on trend, is I have to go for walks in the evening. After I take my especially if on days off from the gym, I'm currently lifting 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on. So before I was only lifting once every other day. I was lifting every other day for like an hour a day, just purely in maintenance mode. Now I'm lifting 2 on, 1 off, 2 on for an hour and a half a day. Excuse me. Every time I raise my androgen level over about 1.5 grams, I get this chronic chest congestion. I didn't know what was causing it. I have now conclusively proven that it's not my body weight. It's not allergies. For some reason, when my androgen load goes up, I get this chest phlegm that won't go away. So that's worth mentioning. Somebody tell me, is that like COPD, congestive heart failure? What's going on? Why do high doses of androgens cause me to have like just chronic phlegm in my bronchial passage? Excuse me. So the problem for me is that between the Anadrol and the trend come up, I will basically start having what is not a panic attack. It's not a panic attack, but it is like extreme anxiety. I will just start getting very physically uncomfortable sitting in the house. Like if I'm trying to like read a book or watch TV or just hang out with my family, the amount of energy that is just vibrating through my body becomes too much. It starts to become a massive psychological weight, and I kind of start to spaz out, and I just feel really, really bad. I can get to the point of feeling extremely bad, feeling like I need to go take a Xanax to calm down. And I have found that all I need to do when that happens is just grab my headphones and go for a walk. And usually within one lap around my block, which is a third of a mile, I'm starting to feel better. 2/3 of a mile, I'm feeling great. I know this is gonna sound weird, but what I do, I don't know why this works, but it absolutely just zaps the anxiety. I just literally walk in the street, listening to my headphones, and I just look up at the sky. The whole time I'm just walking and looking at the sky, looking at the stars, and it just snaps me out of whatever's going on. I think I just got something on my camera, and I'm gonna screw it up trying to get it off in the middle of this video. That was really annoying me. I gotta clean the lens. So yeah, so that's what's going on. So the way that I stay sane on this particular combination of doses is I either go to the gym and try to kill myself by working extremely hard, or I walk. I just walk laps. One night, usually what happens is I start out on like a slow walk, because I'm not really wanting to go for a walk. I just feel like I need to get some fresh air. And so like I'll start at a real kind of lax pace, and then the music will start hitting on, you know, because like the dopamine's flowing in my system, and I'll find like the right song that I'm really kind of vibing with. And then I'll start walking a little faster and a little faster. Next thing you know, I'm just like speed walking laps around the house. I prefer, I don't know, this is another weird thing about me, anytime that I'm outdoors, whether I'm walking on concrete or walking in my grass, I always want to walk barefoot. I love walking barefoot outside. And so one night I was on one, it was in the middle of my trend come up. I don't know how many miles I walked, but I was just pounding the pavement around and around my block. And I bruised my left foot muscle, like the left outer side of my foot. I was hobbled for like a week. I was just limping around the house. I just pounded my feet to death on that concrete. So I have stopped walking barefoot because I can't know when I'm gonna lose control and just go on like a 3-mile just speed walk, pounding the pavement thing. And so now I'm walking in tennis shoes in case I lose my mind and just can't stop walking. Basically, every single night that I go out to walk, the only reason I come in the house is because I feel bad that I've been outside walking for like 45 minutes or something. Or like I'll go walking late in the evening and it'll be my daughter's bedtime, and she always wants to tell me goodnight and like have a little bedtime time with me. And so like I force myself to come in because I want to take care of my daughter. You know, like I'll go, like sometimes I just like want my wife to go like watch one of her shows that I can't stand, so I can literally just go walk around in circles for an hour and a half and listen to music. It is the greatest amount of peace that I can find on these cycles. So it's pretty great, huh? I feel amazing. My physique is just unbelievable. The dryness, the vascularity, like I just feel like the look that I have going right now in the gym is phenomenal. I'm very, very dry on all this Masteron and Tren, and I've got my E2 is dialed perfectly into the middle, so I'm holding no excess water. I feel like I look really shrink wrapped, really dry and grainy, and just phenomenal. I may post the video that I shot last night, but you guys have seen my pose downs a million times. It's amazing, like, you know, how much is lost in the video. Like when you go and you look in the mirror during the course of a cycle, and you can really see the dryness, the graininess, the vascularity. And if you just take a video like off the front facing camera with a little flex, it never captures it. You know, I really need to take the time to shoot more professional photos with this camera to try to capture really what is going on with my body in these cycles. So that's what's going on. Another thing I'm very happy to report, some of you, if you read the comments, may have seen this pop up. I was actually contacted directly by Harry, I'm gonna murder this name. It's Simonus, I think. He's the CEO of Tailored Athlete. The CEO of Tailored Athlete saw the video review I did of their pants and their shirts, and he reached out to me directly in email and wrote me the most lovely email I've ever read. He took all of my critiques. He talked about the fact that I wasn't the only person to complain about the inseam, how like their pants are kind of like nut huggers, and how they're actually redesigning their pants to be more comfortable fitting. And he offered to send me some more products to try and review. And man, I've gone back and forth in email with Harry, the CEO. Absolutely phenomenal guy. I'm super excited to receive these items because I gave a very critical review of their product and of their shop. Like, I had a bad experience. I paid for shipping that I didn't get. I paid for overnight shipping and it didn't come. There was a lot of things that went wrong. And I've had a lot of bad experiences. You guys know I don't pull any punches. I don't sell out to anybody. I tell you exactly how I'm treated by anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. I'm a sponsored athlete by Royal Medical Center, and I just bash the shit out of them all over YouTube. I don't care, dude. I'm not gonna sell out. I'm always gonna give you my honest view on anything. I gave my honest review of Tailored Athlete, and their CEO stepped up to the plate and has offered, they have gone above and beyond. So before I even get these new clothes to try, I just have to express what that means to me as a consumer, because I have had a number of really bad experiences. I had a terrible experience with Audi. I had a terrible experience with our RV that I can't even mention the name because they gave me an out-of-court settlement to make sure that I never mention their name in public again. A very large settlement. So I've had multiple companies just completely mistreat me as a consumer and did absolutely nothing to make it right. And this company saw my review, and you can go to the video. You can go to the video that I did, the review, and you can see where Tailored Athlete in the comments section responded to all of my critiques and offered to make everything right and to say, like, not that they had anything to make right. They had already made it right. They didn't charge me anything for my order because of the shipping problem. So they had already made it right. I talked about that in my video, that they had already gone above and beyond, but they just went another extra step and reached out and said, hey, your critiques of us did not fall on deaf ears, and we're working to improve our product. And dude, that's phenomenal. That's amazing level of customer service. So I cannot wait to get these new shirts and tops, and you will see a review video talking about all that in detail. So there you have it. That's where I'm at. It's back to blast time, baby. There's no telling what's going to be coming out of me. I'm telling you, I have been absolutely unhinged in this house. My wife and I were limping through it. We had a good talk today. I've not been sleeping in the same bedroom with her. I took over the homeschool. I moved. Basically, I didn't leave the house, but I moved into another bedroom of the home. It's been wild, guys. It's been a wild ride. I think we're on the downside of it. She is an absolute soldier for sticking with everything. But see, I'm not going to go too far. Like, she did some shit too, okay? She always does. We both have our role to play. It's just that, you know, she'll do a thing that on a scale of 1 to 10 in severity is like a 2, and I will blow that shit into a 25. Like that. Like, she made the tiniest comment to me in the bedroom the other night, and I blew up. I mean, instantaneously. I watched it happen. I was standing in front of the mirror when she said the shit that I didn't like, and you could see the red literally spread across my body. And by the time I started yelling, I was completely red and purple in the face, and my entire torso was red. It felt like I was on fire, and it's just, it is extremely hard to control. So we'll see how it goes. I'm only at 250. I'm planning to go to 300. So there's still more to come. And again, my daughter is blowing up on her own right. I don't know how it happened. 852 subscribers in 1 week. The rise of Ali. Check her out, I guess. And as always, we'll see you on the next one.